and welcome to Dezan, Shira, and Associates China Weekly Regulatory Watch. So in these episodes, we'll cover a few of these past week's important news developments, and we'll also talk about some items that we're keeping an eye on. I'm Lauren, and today I'm together with Holly. In this week, we'll cover China's encouraged catalog, the video game industry, and also the new free trade zones. So now I'll hand it off to Holly to go over our first news development.
So our first update from this week is regarding an import tariff exemption that's applicable to certain sectors covered by the 2019 encouraged catalog. Now, according to an announcement from the General Administration of Customs, starting from July 30th, 2019, for foreign investment projects that are covered by the encouraged catalog, equipment, technology, and components used by the importer themselves will not have to pay import tariffs. Exclusions do apply to certain goods that are covered by separate catalogs. Now, it's important to note that VAT, or value-added tax, will still be collected for such products during the importation. If you're unfamiliar with the encouraged catalog, it's a list put out by China that states which sectors are being prioritized for foreign investment. Aside from this regulatory update, other benefits to be enjoyed by these sectors include being eligible for preferential treatment, like tax incentives, streamlined approval procedures, discounted land prices, etc. There are two subcatalogs. The first is a nationwide list, which is now 415 items long, while the other is for the central and western regions and is 693 items long. The catalog recently underwent a revision, the last one being in 2017, with 67 items being added and 45 items revised. Investment in modern agriculture, high and new tech, energy conservation, environmental protection, and the modern service industry are especially welcomed now. And another industry still highly encouraged is manufacturing. However, rather than low-end manufacturing, which has seen an increased number of companies leave China for Southeast Asia, high-end, smart, and green manufacturing are now being prioritized. They're making up roughly 80% of the added or modified items this year.
The second news update that we want to cover this week is China's video gaming industry. So several months after the government has lifted a suspension on the licensing process for new video games, China's video game industry is really bouncing back, and we're seeing a strong uptick in growth in the first half of the year, with a growth rate of 10.8% as reported by CNG. And now that's a number double compared to the same time period last year. China's gaming industry is also the biggest in the world in terms of both number of users and revenue. However, it did hit a slump last year when a suspension on gaming licenses was implemented. So from March to December of 2018, government restructuring led to a freeze on the licensing process that all new games must go through before entering the market. And that left a backlog of more than 5,000 games waiting to be approved and released. The country's video game industry is really heavily regulated due to a variety of concerns, such as unsavory content, and that can include violence, gambling, etc., the increasing rates of nearsightedness in children, and gaming addiction. Video games are also considered an internet cultural activity, making it a restricted industry for foreign firms. So if you're a foreign firm and you want to enter the market, they're usually required to license their games to a Chinese domestic company for distribution first. Now, although the ban on new games has ended, the government has now promised to strengthen the supervision of games already approved and online. So while investors can look to strong market performance from this industry, they should also be aware of these government oversights.
And for our last item this week, and something that we're keeping a watch on, is that China is set to name 6 more pilot free trade zones. The timeline as of yet is undefined, but we expect the announcement soon. The first trade zone, or FTZ, was established in Shanghai in 2013. Now there are 12 throughout China. A report by the Chinese Academy of International Trade and Economic Cooperation, along with the Ministry of Commerce, states that since their inception, the zones have attracted over 600,000 newly established enterprises, while 40,000 foreign invested enterprises have set up shop there. Now, these zones often serve as experiments for authorities to try pro-business regulations and deeper reforms. They're also places where goods can be imported, handled, manufactured, and exported without direct intervention from customs. In China, each FTZ has an industry focus with matching incentives to attract investment. A few FTZs offer a CIT, or corporate income tax rate, of about 15%, or offer to allow you to pay the corporate income tax in installments, which of course is done under certain circumstances. Right now, as to where the new zones will be named, all we have are educated guesses, but a general consensus has speculated the 6 will be named from the following 8 provinces and autonomous regions. East China's Shandong, Jiangsu, and Anhui provinces, North China's Hebei province, Northeast China's Heilongjiang province, Northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, South China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, and Central China's Hunan province. Some of these provinces put in their applications to become an FTZ 5+ years ago, whereas some were filed more recently. We'll be keeping a watch on this to see where the new free trade zones actually go. And that's it for this week. Thank you for listening to this episode of DSA's Weekly China Regulatory Watch. Have a great week ahead.